All right, what's going on, guys? Freshy Fresh here. Back with another review, reaction. More of a reaction than anything. UFC 221, UFC 229 just took place. Khabib versus Connor, and Connor got his ass whooped. Unfortunately, I was wearing my green for the Irish. I just want to go in depth here a little bit. I've been watching MMA since probably like 2005, 2006. That's probably when I first started paying attention to it. So at that time, I was probably 12, 13 years old. And one thing that took place during the earlier years of the UFC was, well, not really the earlier years, but the mid years was Josh Koscheck versus Paul Daly. Paul Daly got his ass kicked, got worked for 3 rounds, and then at the end of the bell proceeded to sucker punch Josh Koscheck. That cost Paul Daly his job right off the bat, and Dana White said that he would never fight in the UFC ever again. And Paul Daly's a high up welterweight contender, has been fighting in Bellator, and just fought Rory McDonald recently. However, getting away from that subject, I want to go and talk about what took place after Connor tapped out to Khabib. Rear naked choke, which was extremely unfortunate, but definitely something that I saw coming because Connor has no grappling game whatsoever. He did really good in terms of defense, but, well, I wouldn't even say really good. I think he stuffed like 3 takedowns out of like 8. So Khabib still had a relatively high, I think he had like a 57 or 60% takedown percentage, which is still fairly good if you know wrestling. What happened after? Khabib loses his mind, and there's nothing wrong with showing emotion. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody loves when a fighter shows emotion. That's a good thing. You want a fighter to show emotion. However, you don't want a fighter to jump out of the cage and go straight after a coach. Like, one of Connor's coaches, his grappling coach, I think it was his Jiu-Jitsu coach, a younger guy. I want to say like Daniel or Dan or Dave or something. It's a guy with some blonde hair. Goes after him and tries to literally attack him, which sparks a freaking brawl outside of the cage because Khabib jumped the cage. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a freaking Connor McGregor nut rider. However, I do not agree with a fighter jumping out of the cage. Connor did that after, I believe he knocked out Dan Severn. Or not Dan Severn, Dennis Seaver. Dan Severn. Well, we're going way back. But Dennis Seaver, when he knocked out Dennis Seaver in Boston, he jumped the freaking cage and went after Jose Aldo. He didn't try to, attack him or anything, but he still jumped out of the cage. I don't condone that whatsoever. I get it. This is a high-intensity sport. That's the way things are. I'm not saying people should change who they are. It gets the ratings, it gets the views. Good for you. That's awesome. However, this is a respected sport. Mixed martial arts is a respected sport. And I understand that Connor does a lot of stuff that's, attacking people's families and playing psychological warfare games with people's minds like he did with Eddie Alvarez and Jose Aldo, and then what he tried to do with Khabib, which didn't work. But Khabib, on the other hand, didn't just jump the cage, he literally went after people. He went after a coach. A guy that doesn't even fight in the UFC, let alone, I don't even know if he fights. He might fight. I'm pretty sure he does fight. But he doesn't even fight in the UFC. As I'm getting updates and stuff. I don't get it. I don't understand why. Like, Connor said if he won, he wasn't shaking Khabib's hand. Khabib said when he wins, I ain't shaking Connor's hand. That's fine. You don't have to. but respect the sport. Respect the sport of mixed martial arts. I don't know. I think this is a black eye. I think Dana White is going to be extremely embarrassed. I think there should be not just suspensions, but Khabib literally attacked somebody who he wasn't even fighting. And Paul Daly got fired. I mean, I get it. He wasn't the champion and he wasn't as big of a draw as Khabib maybe. But he still did something that is major. And, maybe, we could flip roles. Maybe Connor won and he goes after Khabib's team. I would still say the same thing. I still love Connor McGregor, but there's no place in the sport. There's just no place in the sport for, I guess, sickening would be a good... It was just a disgraceful act, and it ruined a good night of fights. There were really good fights tonight. I don't know. I'm just frustrated. Oh, Connor got sucker punched by Khabib's teammate. Jumped the cage. Sucker punched Connor in the back of the head like 3-4 times. Probably landed 3 or 4 good shots. You can't even have a normal freaking ending to the fight. You can't. Bruce Buffer has to call it, and neither fighters are even in the octagon. So it's just one of those things that... I don't know. I can tell you I'm not a fan of Khabib. I liked Khabib before, even though he was fighting Connor, and Connor's my favorite fighter. I have a wrestling background, and I appreciate what Khabib has done and his dominance in terms of how he utilizes his wrestling. But I don't know. I'm just frustrated. It was like I said, it was a good night of fights, and I think it could have been even better had, I don't know. I guess security kind of dropped the ball. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. It's two of like the craziest nations that are so proud. I mean, we're proud to be Americans, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of the most proud Americans ever. But Ireland in their sports and Russia in their sports, it's hard to compare. Maybe England in terms of soccer. But, oh man, I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated and I'm disappointed because I really want to watch the UFC post-fight press conference, but I don't even think it's going to be worth my time. I don't think I need to sit there and wait for freaking 2 hours for random fighters. The people that, or everybody wants to see Connor or Khabib. I guarantee you neither of them are going to be there. I guarantee you both of them are going to get death threats. I guarantee you that it's just going to be an absolute shit show from this point out. Khabib, there's probably going to be talks of him getting stripped for doing some stupid shit. There's going to be suspensions. Connor didn't do anything wrong. I mean, yeah, he talked the talk, but he was trying to sell pay-per-views. Did he take it too far? Damn straight. He took it too far. But that's the way Connor is. He's never going to change. Khabib, he definitely took it way too far by attacking a coach. There's just no room for that. There's probably going to be charges like actual criminal charges. I think during that scrum, I saw a police officer get hit, like actually hit or punched when they were trying to separate Khabib. So I don't know if it was Connor or Khabib's team, but I guarantee you there's going to be some criminal charges that go out. Yeah, just an absolute shit show. And again, I just don't think there's any room in the sport for stuff like that. You hate each other. Good. It makes the fight that much better. It sells fights. Biggest fight in UFC history, but Connor did not show what he can do, I personally think. This is kind of like a reaction to the main event because that's what's going to be talked about most. But man, I'm just really disappointed more than anything. Not because Connor lost. Connor came back and fought really good against Nate Diaz, It happens. Losses happen. No one is going to stay undefeated. I guarantee you Khabib's going to lose eventually unless he retires early or just gets fired, which I don't think will happen because he's the champion. But I think he could get stripped. I think that's probably the most ideal thing is suspension, fine, stripped while on suspension. I think there might be a second fight, honestly, but I don't know if it'll go the same way. I don't know, guys. I'm just kind of going around in circles now, but yeah, my reaction, if I had to rate UFC 229 as a whole, I'd give it a thumbs down just because of all that shit that happened at the end. Like a really good event, I get it. Brock Lesnar fucking hated Frank Mir, but guess what? Brock Lesnar didn't attack Frank Mir's team after. Yeah, he was a dick about it and got up in his face and told him I fucking told you so and all that other stuff. That's fighting. He told him so. Okay, perfect. We moved on. But shit didn't escalate to this point like it did tonight. So I'm just kind of frustrated and I'm disappointed. Tell me what you guys thought. Tell me what your thoughts are on the event, whether you're going for Khabib or Connor, or what you guys thought of the event as a whole. I'm truly hoping that... I don't even know if I'm hoping. I'm actually just wondering what's going to come of this, or what's going to become of the events that transpired this evening, or tonight. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see probably in the next few days or a week or two. If nothing happens to Khabib, I'd be surprised. Like, I would be extremely shocked. But who knows? It's the fight game, people. All right, guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button down below. Subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later. Fresh, signing out. Peace, guys.